Well, what is going on, gang? Welcome back to A Therapeutic Edge. It is very nice to have you here today. I've got something on the table that's, not new. But it's new to the collection, so I'm going to share it with you. Those of you that already know, this is the CKF, or Custom Knife Factory, made Rotten Designed Evolution, or Evo 2.0. And this one is mine. So the Evos are an odd deal. The guys at Rotten designed this particular look now 4 or 5 years ago. They came out with the Evo. Back then it was just the Evo. It had more finger choils. It was bigger. Then they came out with this, which is the 2.0, followed by the 3.0. Now they're to the 4.0, and then there's a Tanto. They've released some of these. It's a very particular design. Other people have imitated it. Very few have mastered it. I had this, not this knife, but this exact version of this knife on my table a long time ago. It was loaned to me by Kevin over at Lefty EDC. He has one that looks just like this. And I absolutely fell in love with it, and then went home, and couple of things go on with these. One, they're like $800 or close when they drop, between $650 and $800, and which is really expensive. And then, because they do small batch, let's say they're $650 on Tuesday. On Wednesday, they're $1,000 or more used, and I don't do that. I don't do that, and I don't chase FOMO drops. So as much as I loved this thing, sorry about that. I just don't do that. So I kind of gave up on ever having one. It never drifted too far out of my mind, but there are just some things you figure I'm just not going to get one of those. Well, last week, I was on a knife sale Facebook page of all things, and this popped up. And the gentleman that was selling it for the price they cost new. Like, he wasn't asking a ridiculous amount of money. He wasn't being a jerk. And so I just went, yep, I'll take it. Because they don't come up very often. Lots of 3.0s, lots of 4.0s. Lots of the Tantos, I guess, is not that popular. But this 2.0, particularly the carbon fiber configuration, and this has got the Damascus clip on it, they just don't pop up. So I was like, yeah, okay. And then I happened to notice that he's from here. Well, not here. He's about a half hour away. And I, sort of without thinking about it, went, hey, man, you want to just meet and do the deal? And he said yes. So I drove about 20 minutes. He drove about 20 minutes, and we met in the middle. Super nice guy. I don't really know if I should be sharing his name and stuff, so I'm not going to do that in the video. If he gives me the thumbs up, I'll put his Instagram and some other stuff in the description. And I drove home with an Evo 2.0. Now, I really like CKF knives. Hang on. Their consistent build quality is some of the best in the industry. If you believe what's available online, these come out of the Kevin John factory. Now, Kevin John made his bones making clones. That's just the truth of it. But he has, or they have, because I don't think there's actually a Kevin in Kevin John, they have a fantastic production line that makes just some of the best pocket knives in the world. I mean, right? So this is good stuff. Beyond that, of all the stuff I just showed you, Probably my favorite of the collection that I just took off the table is the Blava. And I like it because of this shape, which, as you can see, right, I like a heavy blade. I like the handle, cut in this way. This just works for me. So the 2.0 here is absolutely my jam. Now the 3.0 is a little bigger, and given my history with big knives, you'd think that would be the one that I would go for, but sometimes I can talk. Sometimes things just work, and this just works. I had Kevin's for a couple of weeks, a little longer than I probably should have, but anyway, I hold on to stuff longer than I should when I do pass-arounds. Not proud of it, but it's a truth. Like I said, I fell in love with it. And so here it is. So let's take a look at what you get. Now, these are between $550, let's say, and $1,000, depending on where you get yours. I cannot tell you if it's worth that much money, because it's only worth that much money if it's worth that much money to you. This is absolutely worth what I paid. Okay, so let's take a look at what you get. First and foremost, you get the Evo Evolution design, which I think is fantastic, right? It's got a great forward choil. It's got the shaping, right? My hand just sets into this thing like it was made for it. And if I come forward onto that choil, it is absolutely locked in. You have fantastic belly on this hollow ground M390 blade, right? Now there is some jimping for your thumb. If you're back here, the jimping makes sense. If you come forward, you're going to miss it. So whatever. But this isn't even a flat line. There's a curve here, right? So you got all that beautiful belly. It's got a really nice but strong tip on it. In case you need to give something a poke, you can. It's excellent for draw cuts. This is a package destroyer. The way they did the forward choil means that, of course, it's in front of the plunge, so you don't have to worry about sharpening. You've got plenty of room to sharpen up the blade before you get into the smile. It's got some jimping on the lock bar. It's a frame lock, as you can see. Now, again, this one came with the beautiful Damascus clip. I have the standard clip. This is their dark something titanium. As you can see, it's got almost a wood grain pattern to it. Nice backspacer, right? Half-length backspacer. Relatively simple build, 1, 2, 3 screws, and then you have this little pin right here that you can actually see is married into the scales down inside. This is an excellent pocket knife. It just is. All right, so what else did I have? Did I write down anything useful about this? I don't very often. No. Okay, so let's just do it like we usually do it. Let's take a look at what you get. The basic specs are as follows. The blade is 3 1/16, 3 1/8 of cutting on 3.5 inches of that M390. The grip area, now from behind this point, is 3 1/4, which is a hair short for me overall for comfort, but I still managed to get, you see my pinky hangs off just a little bit. But come forward, and from there, 1, 2, 3, 4, and a little tiny bit, right? So plenty of room to move around. It is very comfortable. It carries very well. It's a relatively contained package, and it's got this fantastic long clip. Now, one of the things that Lefty pointed out, I mean, his name's Lefty, so you know this is important, is though even though they don't give you a left-hand carry option on the Evos, because of the length of the clip, for lefties, when you hold the knife, you're not pressing on the lock bar with your thumb, so you can open it, or at least he can open it really effectively. That means that even though it's not built for lefties, lefties can still use it fairly easily. So it's the length of this clip, which, man, that clip is just beautiful. Deployment, you can use these studs. Well, these are the stops, right? But you can use them. Of course, you can just flick it, and you can just open it with the thumb hole as well. Design beyond that is fairly straightforward. It does have a steel lock bar insert. You can see on the inside there. The tie on this side is, I'm not sure I'm going to be able to get that to show. See if we can get some light on the subject. Maybe I can. You see in there? Yeah, so the tie scale on the lock bar side is milled to reduce weight. The carbon fiber is milled to reduce weight. Makes for a very light carry. Closed length on the Evo 2.0 is coming in at just about 4.5, a little under. In the pocket profile it's relatively thick, but not too bad. You're looking at about 1.5 inches. Tip to tail, we are just shy of 8 inches. So yeah, we're just shy of 8 inches. Let's see if we can get a more accurate read on that. All right, we're lined up. A little over 7 3/4. 7.7 overall. This is a fantastic pocket knife. Let's do some size comparisons. I mean, look, I know this has been out there for a long time. None of this is surprising to any of you guys, but let's do it anyway. Here it is against the Para 3. As you can see, the Evo is bigger than the Para 3. How about a PM2, just for giggles? Yeah, it's a little smaller than the PM2. What else do we have on the table that's interesting? How about a classic 940? These are identical in length, so, but of course in every other dimension. The Evo's bigger. How about how about a Deca? Yeah, it was longer than a Deca. Size-wise, you know, like how much of your pocket is it going to eat up? The Para 3 is actually a pretty good analog, right? They're about the same dimensions, closed and in the pocket. The Evo 2.0 is considerably more comfortable than the Para 3 for me in grip. I love this handle shape on the longer PM2. I really don't like it on the Para 3. The way this is shaped has never sat very well for me in my hand. This is much the same dimensions as this, but just so comfortable. Action, of course, fantastic, right? Just, you get past that and it just locks shut. Now, that right here, right? That's the detent ball climbing onto the blade. So there's a little bit of a, what is it? Double clutch, I think is what MC calls it. But the weight of the blade means that it really gets over that super easy, and then it just drops shut. Let's go ahead and weigh it out, because that's something we do. I'm going to ask this, does anybody actually care, I mean, really about weight anymore? I mean, I know some people do, right? If you're an ultralight knife guy and you're out there backpacking or, you know, running marathons in your dolphin shorts, having a knife that only weighs 1.8 ounces is really important, but for the most part, people kind of not care unless it's really big. Anyway, let's see. We'll zero that. 4.4 ounces or 124 grams. Not too bad by way of comparison. So it's a little heavier than the Para 3. You know, I've said this many times, but knife collecting is a personal experience. It just is, and I get that. If you find something that works for you, go get it. But the downside of that is that we often end up buying knives that, and I see this a lot in the community, you know, everyone will rush out and buy a knife because so-and-so said it's great. there's no way everybody enjoys that knife as much as the person who was promoting it. So be cautious, particularly at this kind of price point. Be thoughtful. But if there's something you like and you get a chance to get it, go for it. Anyway, this is the Custom Knife Factory Evolution 2.0, designed by the folks at Rotten Design. It is one of the most interesting and one of my favorite pocket knives of the last 5-6 years, hands down. I am really glad that I have one in the collection, and I hope very much that it stays. I have no reason why it wouldn't, but life does what it does, I suppose. But in the meantime, I am going to enjoy having this, and I hope you are going to enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions, feel free to ask down in the comments below. Otherwise, remember to take care of yourselves and take care of each other. We'll see you next time.